Hi everybody, this is Ed Thomas. I am president of Dimension 2000, and I'm going to take a few minutes here to explain how to use our really cool website called Mathcore2k. And to access Mathcore2k, what I'm going to do is going to pull up my browser, and in the very top where the address is, I'm going to type in mathcore2k.com, press enter. And this is the main screen that is the entrance screen for Mathcore2k. Notice there's a member login button, and I'm going to click there, and since I'm already a member, it gets me right into the website. Now, when you first subscribe to the website, you will have a login and a password, and at that point when you click the member login, it'll ask you for your login and the password, and you can type those in, and that should get you into the site. Now, sometimes we have some folks who already have an existing Gmail account, and when they try to log in, it doesn't let them log in. And so what you have to do is you have to sign out of any existing Gmail accounts that are currently open. And then when you type in your login and password, that should work and get you right into the Mathcore2k website. Now, we have a lot of neat resources here, and the resources are designed to help teachers who teach mathematics associated with the Common Core standards. And I'm going to show you some of those resources today. And in this first segment of video, we're going to deal primarily with grades K, 1, and 2. So the first thing I want to show the K2 teachers is there's a button here on the left called Power of Every Day, Student Challenges, and I'm going to click on that. And of course there's the grade levels, and since we're working with K1 and 2, I'm going to start with kindergarten. Click on the K button. And notice the resources here. We have mental math strings, we have math attack questions, math attack answers, a pre-test you can give your students, and some number lines you can print out for your students, which is very nice. Now, I want to begin with the math attack questions. I'm going to click on this, and these are designed for the teacher to start class with. So here you see a colorful screen with some apples and oranges, and what we would recommend is at the start of your math time, have this showing on your smart board or using your projector, and let the kids answer the question, which group has more, apples or oranges? Now that seems awfully simple, but what's nice is I'm going to go back to where we had that list of where it said math attack questions, and I'm going to click on math attack answers. This is actually a document we would like you to print and have at your desk or at your podium so that whenever you show the students that slide, there's more questions to ask than just which group has more. So let's take a look at these questions. What is the sum of apples and oranges? How many more apples than oranges are there? And if 2 oranges were added to the group, would there be more oranges than apples, more apples than oranges, or equal apples and oranges? So this is very nice because these questions are designed to help the kids develop number sense. And if you do one of these each day to start class, it's really going to have a positive impact on your students. Now I'm going to hit the back arrow. And remember, so that was math attack questions and math attack answers. We recommend you do one a day. Now there's approximately 100 questions in the K1 and 2 files for the math attack. And if you actually start this at the beginning of the year, when you actually hit your 100th question, what I'd like you to do, there's another button here above the Power of Every Day called K8 Practice Assessment Items. And if I click on that button, again I get some grade level buttons. I'm going to click on kindergarten one more time. This is another set of question answers that you can start class with, and I'm going to use my down arrow key on my computer to advance to the first question here. And these questions are actually very good to prepare your students for end-of-year testing. So these are an excellent set of practice questions that are definitely aligned with the Common Core. And here's the first question. Drag numbers from the numbers pool to complete each counting statement. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the kids have to figure out what numbers go in the next 3 slots. Now we use the language to drag because A lot of the tests that are coming down the pike, that's how kids will do them on the computer. But since this is a PDF file, you can't literally drag unless you use your smartboard tools. But the idea here is that the kids can still understand that, okay, so if I can't drag, I can at least answer. So after 7 comes 8, and then 9, and then 10. Now, if you use your down arrow and you go to the next slide, that shows the answers. And that's the format for these practice assessment items. So I'm going to hit the back arrow again. And by the way, there's about 50 of those, so that should actually take you right up to testing or even past it, possibly. But that's a nice resource to have. Now I'm going to go back to Power of Every Day. And remember, we had clicked on kindergarten before, and that's where we got our math attack questions and the answer forms that you would print out. Here's another neat thing called mental math strings. Now, mental math strings are a series of statements that we read to the kids, and the kids have to listen to the statements and then perform operations in their head actually on the numbers that result. So let me show you what one looks like for kindergarten. All right, here we have problem number 1. Start with a number you see, and then when it says show 5 in parentheses, what you would do is you would take your hand and literally show the number 5. And then the next command says double your answer, so the kids would have to think, okay, if I have 5, what do I have if I double that amount, which would be 10. And then the next line says now add 1, and so the kids would think 11. And what we want to do is teach the kids their doubles over time. So again, I'd like you to do 1 a day with these. A good time to do these would be at the end of your math time. So tell the kids, say, okay, we're done with math basically. Let's finish up with a mental math string. And then you would read this to your students. Now, to help the kids who maybe didn't get it, ask for a volunteer who got it right to come to the front. And I would call these commands out again and let that student answer out loud after each line of the mental math string so the kids can see what they should have done. And, of course, congratulate the kids who get it right and encourage the kids who didn't that you'll have another opportunity tomorrow. And as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I believe there's 50 in the set. And that will take you pretty far into the school year. And then when you hit your 50th one, you can turn right around and use these again. The kids aren't going to remember them. And it's just really, really good practice for mental math. So I'm going to hit the back arrow key. And the next thing I want to show you is this button that's right here. You can see where the little hand is. It says Grade Specific CCS Resources. So on the Grade Specific CCS Resources, now I'm going to go to first grade, and when I hit grade 1, you get a list of topics. Now these are the same topic headings that you would find in the Common Core standards. And I'm going to click on Understand and Apply Properties of Operations. And notice there's 3 buttons that you can choose from. One is a hands-on activity to the right, and we call it a memorable activity for obvious reasons. And then we have centers, and then we have teacher's notes. Let's start with the hands-on activity. So in the hands-on activity, and by the way, this is printable, so you can print this for yourself. What we're trying to do is teach the kids about some properties of numbers and how to use them to their advantage. So here we have 3 students come forward, and we give them a copy paper with numbers on them. So the first student has a 6, the next one has an 8, the next one has a 2. And we start explaining that there's a property called the associative property, which gives us a choice of being able to add the first 2 numbers as we go from left to right first, or we can start by adding the rightmost 2 numbers first. And that's what associative simply says, that you have a choice. You can do the 6 and 8 first, or you can do the 8 and 2 first. Well, the properties were designed to empower us, and I think you can see that if we did the 2 numbers on the right first, 8 plus 2 is 10, then come back and add the 6. 10 plus 6 makes 16 is a pretty easy computation. A little easier than doing 6 plus 8 is 14, and then plus 2 more makes 16. Now, either way gets the right answer, of course, but we're showing kids they do have a choice, and that's what associative property says. Now, on the next page, we're going to talk about the commutative property, and this time, notice I have the numbers aligned a little different. The 8's on the far left and the 2's on the right. And so if we did the 8 and 7 first by associative property, that'd be 15 plus 2 makes 17. If we did the last two first, 7 and 2 makes 9, then come back and get 8, and we get 17. But wouldn't it be nice if we can do the 8 and 2? Well, the commutative property teaches that we can actually swap two numbers that are next to each other. So I can take the 7 and 2 and exchange their positions. So now I would have the 8, the 2, and then the 7, and then I can use my associative property to do 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 7 is 17. So that's a nice suggestion as to how to teach the kids the meaning of associative and commutative properties. And then we actually have a game we're going to play where kids are going to use playing cards, and they're going to turn up 3 random cards, and they get to choose, do they want to use commutative property, associative property, what do they want to do to add that in the most effective and efficient manner. And to go along with that game, we actually have a board you can print right here. It's like a card mat so that the kids can place their cards on there, and there's a couple of examples on the bottom for the kids to see. So there's a nice hands-on activity, and again, that's what this website's about, providing nice instructional resources for teachers. So I'm going to hit the back left arrow, and notice we have centers. Now, the centers, everyone knows what centers are. Of course, you set them up in your classroom. What we've done is we've defined 4 centers around the learning styles of kids. So as you see on the top left, we have mastery task, then interpersonal task to the right, understanding task, and self-expressive task. And so we have 4 tasks related to this particular math concept, and the kids can actually rotate through the classroom and experience these 4 different ways of thinking about the mathematics. So here's an example of a card that might be at the center for the mastery task. It says write an A or C to indicate the commutative or associative properties in action. So 8 plus 2 equals 2 plus 8. Of course, that would be commutative because the 8 and the 2, the order has been switched. 3 plus 6 plus 4 equals 3 plus 10. In this case, that's associative. What we did is we added the right 2 numbers, 6 and 4 first, and then come back and our intent is to pick up the 3. So here's a series of cards that you can print and cut and put into the Mastery Center. Now let's take a look at an understanding. Here we're asking students to work with a partner and use their fingers to model each problem. So if you have 2 kids working together, of course, you'll have 3 hands. So 4 plus 1 plus 5, the kids can do that with their fingers. And that'll be a lot of fun for the kids to actually model these, and they can explain if they're going to use associative or commutative and why they would like to use those particular properties or which properties. And there's several cards here you can print and cut. And here's another understanding task where it says the associative property of addition states it's okay to start with the first 2 numbers or the last 2 when adding 3 numbers. Explain how the right choice can make each problem easier to solve. So these have been devised to show kids that the associative property or commutative property can be used to make the problem easier. So here we have the 5 and 5 would be the great place to start here to make a 10. Come back with your 8, 18. But on the second problem, the left 2 numbers would be good to start with. 9 plus 1 is 10. Come back and get your 7, 17. So a lot of nice activities here for the kids to practice. Now here's another understanding. Self-expressive. Okay, this is self-expressive task where it says use the 3 numbers and the squares below to create a problem whose answer is 12. So the kids have to figure out where the numbers should go to make it 12. And again, there's several cards here you can print and copy and use in your center. Okay, I'm going to hit the back arrow button. Oh, by the way, if you don't want to actually use centers, you could actually use those materials and ideas as a whole group instruction as well. Now the button here called Teacher's Notes, these are just some ideas that I have that I'm putting on paper for the teachers to read and consider. Here we're talking about striving for excellence. The following statements include suggestions for helping students to understand the commutative and associative properties and learn how to use them to make computations easier, and just some tips on how to work with your students. Okay, I'm going to click the back arrow. So we've already taken a look at Power of Every Day, the K-8 practice, and the grade-specific resources for K-2. I want to show you also the video list. Now we have a list of very nice videos here with me and another math consultant talking about some activities you can do in your class. One in particular that was really good for K2 is time challenges. And if you click on a time challenges button, the window will open and you can actually play a video with me talking to another math consultant. And again, we call this time challenges, and it's very applicable to K2. I won't actually play the whole video here, but you can at least see that the video does exist. And when you watch that, you get some really good ideas that you can use in your classroom to help students develop number sense.
Students will apply their understandings of numbers to the
system. Okay, I'm going to stop that. And next I want to go down to the Publish It button. Now the Publish It button is really cool. This is an opportunity for teachers to actually publish their own great ideas. So let's click on the button and see what happens. And here it says, do you have a great teaching idea in math? Publish It is a great way for teachers to publish and receive credit for their own great teaching ideas. The process is simple. Complete each of the fields below and click the Submit button. Soon your great teaching idea will be posted on Mathcore2k.com. A link to your posting will be added with the resource links accessible through the grade-specific CCS resources buttons and the Common Core Math Standard to which your idea applies. Submit your idea this week and it'll be ready for other subscribers to see the following week. Be sure to check out the great ideas submitted by other Mathcore2k subscribers. So this is real easy. Here's where you put your teacher name, your school name, the date, grade level, phone contact. We won't post that, but we want to know how to reach you if we have a question. Math concept or skill, the Common Core standard that this applies to, cluster value. And then, of course, which of the 5 stages of teaching and learning applies here, and what learning style. And you can read about those back on the website. There's a button for planning tools, and you can read more about those. And student grouping, materials needed, and then a narrative on how to do your activity. And a place to submit materials as well. So this would be a really nice way for you to publish your ideas, and we will definitely put that on our website for other teachers to see. And it's just a really nice tool that we have for Mathcore2k.com. On the Publications button, these are some of the books that we have published. Now the bottom 3, Math Tools, Styles, and Strategies books, are published by Corwin Press. And you can go to corwin.com and purchase those. But the top 3 we published ourselves. High Achievement Guaranteed for Number Sense, for Algebra, and for Geometry. And if you click on one of those, you actually get a PDF file of the whole book. And you can look through there and get a lot of very good ideas that you can incorporate in your classroom. So the teachers really like these books. They're very good, High Achievement Guaranteed. And just take your time and scroll through. I'm just using my down arrow button, and there's our 5 stages of teaching and learning math there as well, along with examples, number sense, what it is, what it isn't. Just a very nice resource that you can use with your students, and a lot of nice activities here in the book. So that's a nice bonus on the website. I'm going to click the back arrow one more time. And so looking through the buttons one more time, we talked about the grade-specific resources. That's where you get your hands-on and your centers. K-8 practice is going to follow your Power of Everyday practice, problem-solving practice problems, the Math Attack. And your mental math strings are under Power of Everyday. We have nice videos, several which will apply to the K2 classroom. This button takes you right to the Common Core official site if you need to check and see a particular standard and exactly what it says. Our planning tools explain the 4 learning styles, the 5 stages teaching and learning, and much more. And then we have a mission statement. Our publications is right here with these High Achievement Guaranteed books. If you need to contact us, that button will show you how. And then Publish It. I hope you use the Publish It button and get some of your great ideas onto the website. This is new, by the way. We just started this year in 2015. So it'll be interesting to see a year from now how many postings we have, and it should really enhance this website tremendously. So I'm going to go back to the home page. It's called Mathcore2k. You should have your login and you should have your password. If you have not subscribed yet, please do. And it's very cost effective. We only charge, I think it's $995 for a school for a whole year, and that gives access to everybody in the school. And we will get you your login and password, and you can use this website to help your students to improve their and optimize their math achievement. So thanks for your time, and I hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, you know how to contact us. Just click on that contact button below and you can contact us. So thank you again, and good luck.